yes. And we back.
We back.
At least I'm back. It's been a minute. It's Nutty North podcast, presented by Mojo Sports Gear here on Score On There at Score On There Network at Facebook.com. I'm Rondell. That's T over there. You see, we got the lower thirds back. Thank Deshaun for that, because I wasn't about to get him. I know that much.
Just lazy. That's why your Bengals ain't make the playoffs, because just just lazy.
All right, so the show is over. See you on next time. Like, golly, bro. Man, how you feeling anyways?
I'm feeling great. You know I'm feeling great. And you know why.
I was just talking to my Uber driver about this, too. I was like, I'm about to be in this room with this man. Browns just made playoffs. Like, golly.
I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to be unbearably annoying. Because we done took every punch that you can take. We done heard everything. If you going to kick us so much when we down, you got to hear it when we get up. So, yeah, absolutely. And we had to, I don't care who wasn't on the field, what. We beat the Steelers to get there. That's how you do it, baby. Yeah, buddy. Playoffs, here we come.
Well, they got the Steelers again, so let's hope the Steelers get their act together.
I got some act for them.
Yeah, all right.
Man, yeah. I feel great, obviously, but it's just to get here, it wasn't going to be easy, clearly. But, this COVID thing, it's just it's hit the Browns a little bit worse, I guess, at least as of late, to have to get there. But, again, as long as I've been a Browns fan, you just kind of know. Like, it's never going to be just cut and dry like that. It's going to have to take the hard way, but that's the way you want it. The last time Cleveland won a championship, it was the hard way. So, hey, I'll take it. I'm cool with it. Let's get it on. We play who's out there, man. So, it is what it is.
All right, well, let's talk the standings real quick. So I finally created the graphic again. Here it is. We got the Steelers still at top. They at 12-4. Baltimore's 11-5. Browns 11-5. And Bengals 4-11-1. But it's the end of the year. The Steelers still at top, but they got the Browns in the playoffs. The Ravens, they finally got their act together. They got the Titans, though. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how Lamar wants to change the narrative. People don't think he could win big games, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk, can the Steelers handle the Browns, and can the Browns handle the Steelers? So which one you want to start with?
We can go ahead and start with you give Lamar and Sean. Let him have it.
Uh-huh.
He better show something at this point. Because, you can have all the regular season success. You can have all the accolades. You can do whatever you want to do with that. But there's still one goal, and that's to, handle it in the playoffs. None of that matters when you can't win there. Luckily for them, they get a chance to redeem themselves because they get to play the Titans again. Now, whether that's a great thing for them or a bad thing, we'll have to see. But it's just, as far as matchups go, if you're a competitor, and I think Lamar Jackson is, you want to play the teams that beat you. You want to play the team that puts you out. You want to play the best of the best. You want to take the hard road. So you're only going to really redeem yourself if you can beat the Titans. They had a magical regular season last year. And I feel like that might have hurt them because expectations were super high. They were expected to come in there and do some things, and they wet the bed, so to speak. So now I think they already been in playoff mode over the last few weeks. And that's something that is always kind of swept under the rug. But I put a big premium on is when you're already in playoff mode. Like, of course, you want to be at the top of your division. You want to, securely be in the playoffs the whole way, not have to worry about it, not have to deal with people, having to lose to get there, and not have to, qualify the last week or none of that. But the good thing about that is the last few weeks you've been in playoff mode. So once the actual playoffs come, you've been ready for that action. So I think that may bode well for them that, they took their foot off the gas a little bit last year. I think they showed a lot of regular season prowess. And the main reason, like we talked about long before, why I had Patrick Mahomes ahead of Lamar Jackson as far as the best player in the NFL was because of that. I don't care what you do in the regular season. If you qualify, Washington football team qualified under 500, but if they go around and win the playoffs and win the Super Bowl, which is highly unlikely, but if they end up doing that, ain't nobody gonna care what they did in the regular season. Ain't nobody gonna care that they underwhelmed in the regular season. They're going to care about the results come playoff time. You just have to win enough games to get into that big dance and do what you need to do. So for Lamar Jackson's sake, he better hope he brings it, because if he doesn't, now you have that stigma that you can't win big. And that's going to be a real problem for somebody like him, because he's not still, to me, I don't think he showed that much quarterback, production. I think he's still more dangerous with his legs, and he's probably always going to be that way, granted. But you need to show me what you can do in that pocket, because Tannehill can beat you with his legs too. But Tannehill shows you the difference between him and Lamar Jackson as far as being an actual quarterback and being able to hit you on the money and be able to run your game plan and do what you need to do. And it's just, again, you have a chance to redeem yourself. All this could be for naught if the Ravens come out there and they put a foot up Tennessee's hind duty, for real, for real. So shout out to my grandma for that word. But
No, your grandma can keep that word.
No. We watch your mouth for my grandma. I bring her up here. Fanny don't play that.
Okay.
But I mean, again, it's a chance you get to play who put you out. So I'm personally a big payback guy. That's why I wanted the Steelers, just because, I mean, they put the whipping on us. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I don't care who didn't play. It's payback. So for the Ravens, it's the same thing. The Titans put you out. They beat you down. They made you some chumps. So now you get a chance to get your get back. So let's see what they do with it. I'm very interested in that game.
Yeah, I mean, that game's looking like a rivalry game, to be honest. The coaches don't seem like they get along. The players not getting along. So, yeah, I'm excited to see that game. I'm definitely excited.
But it only could be a rivalry if Baltimore wins. It's not a rivalry if you can't beat them.
I mean, you could have said the same thing about Ohio State and Clemson. But they still play with the same intensity.
Yeah,
that look like a rivalry at times.
I think the difference is, Ohio State and Clemson was closer. Like, Tennessee manhandled Baltimore for real.
I mean, the second game in the regular season, they didn't really get manhandled. And plus,
you talking about the
yeah. Plus, if you really think back on it, during the time Lamar's been on Baltimore, he wasn't playing. It was still Flacco's era, but they got the dub then.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'm more speaking on Lamar Jackson's Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, so with Lamar starting, he's like 0-2 against them.
Yeah, in playoffs. So I mean, he has to get it done there. I mean, again, that's where quarterbacks are always judged on. Quarterbacks are judged a lot different than running backs, wide receivers, etc. Because it matters there. Flacco, you brought him up. He has a championship. He's won in the big games, and you're never going to say Flacco is better than Tom Brady or Peyton Manning or any of those guys, but he was able to beat those guys. So that's why that matters for him. If Lamar Jackson, you can look pretty all throughout the year, but when it matters, if you don't show up, what does that mean? So again, he just has to bring it. And it's not just Lamar Jackson either. It's more of a target on Lamar Jackson that he doesn't get it done. So that's just more what it boils down to. Is if they don't win, they're going to look at him and say, well, you're the reason they don't win. And now you're going to hear more chatter. Is he the guy? I mean, I believe he's the guy. But when you don't win, that's where that conversation starts to come. The media can't wait to put another quarterback there. They love that. You see what happened with Carson Wentz. Not too long ago, he was the greatest thing ever. You get hurt a couple years, and then you have a couple down years. They can't wait to replace you. Jalen Hurts wasn't never really looked at as a premium quarterback prospect. Now he gets put in the Eagles uniform. Now Carson Wentz has to go bye-bye. That will be the same thing that happens with Lamar Jackson if he can't get it done in the playoffs. Nick Foles ain't better than Carson Wentz, but he won in the playoffs. So that's where quarterbacks are judged. So I mean, he's just gonna have to bring it. Like I said, I have to say this: he better bring the noise, bring the funk.
Right. Also, there is some history between these two teams from the AFC Central. I mean, I was a kid back then, so I don't know. I don't remember nothing about that, but yeah. It's kind of a rivalry reunited. So I mean, it's gonna be fun to see at the end of the day. But before we go on, I meant to mention. Is the AFC North the best division in football?
Absolutely.
I mean, 3 teams in the playoffs. I mean, it could have been 4. It could have been 4 if my Bengals got it together.
And I could be woke up to next to Janae Ioko.
Okay.
That's just what could have happened. If we're going to keep doing this, it could have been game. I'm going to keep throwing out what could happen. I could have definitely woke up next to her. I woke up next to my juice. Woke up next to orange juice today.
And then Browns fans wonder why we don't share they love for their team success this year. Like, man, where was the love when we had success?
We don't need your love.
That's crazy.
We don't need your love at all. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I think it is the best division. Even with Cincinnati, I mean, they were. I don't want to call them a terrible team. They were obviously at the bottom of the standings.
Disorganized, I'll say that.
Yeah, a little bit. But Cincinnati, for the most part, they played to win. Like, they were a tough out. Outside of a couple games, which, I mean, they're still a bad team, so you're going to get blown out here or there. But
you're going to look overmatched against Baltimore.
Oh, absolutely. But for the most part, there wasn't really no quit in them. And then you can't really blame that last game on them. Not like that, just because, I mean, Baltimore had to win that one. So they you can't afford to kind of play around. Right. Tennessee did the same thing with Houston. And they almost took an L that way. You know what I mean? Because this is still the NFL. These are still professional athletes. These are guys that still get paychecks to do their job. These are guys that still are, you know what I mean, watch for their job. You know, you have to play until it's over because there's somebody going to take your job. You know, everything on film counts. So, I mean, Baltimore had to come out there and do what they needed to do. And they did, you know, but at the end of the day, Cincinnati was still a tough out, you know, and you can see that. And I think, you know, Mike Brown saw that too, and that's why they brought the coach back. So, but definitely, hands down, that's the best division in football.
Best division, hands down. Mm-hmm. Even though your boy Patty Mahomes in the AFC West.
I mean, the AFC West don't have three teams that are.
I mean, they kind of got about two of them getting their act together with the Chargers and the Raiders.
The Chargers were below 500. The Broncos were below 500, and the Raiders were at 500.
I mean, the Chargers, they just got rid of their coach, so they gonna get it together. And the Raiders, they still figuring it out, but John Gruden seems to be on the right path.
Well, he's swimming in that dough, so he better figure it out one way or another.
I mean, I agree with you. AFC North is hands down the best division in football. But there's got to be another division on the come up. Maybe the AFC South.
I mean, could be. If Urban Meyer goes to Jacksonville and do what he, you know, could do.
You don't want that to happen.
I mean, I'd rather see him somewhere not in college, so stay away from us. But at the end of the day, if I would say if there's going to be a team kind of coming up the rear, it would be probably I'm going to say the NFC West, just because they're mediocre for the most part right now, but they're not too far away from not being mediocre. They had two teams, Arizona and the Rams, that played the last game to make the playoffs. Arizona, they pretty much
did Seattle not make it?
No, Seattle made it. Seattle's the division winner.
Okay.
Arizona and the Rams played pretty much a play-in game, which the Arizona lost. But Arizona did that to themselves the week before when they lost to the 49ers.
Right.
So that kind of helps the cause of their division being tough, because San Francisco would have been there, but the injuries just destroyed their season.
Right.
And, you know, Arizona, they're on the come up. The Rams are on the come up. It's just that at this point this year, they're just average. You know, so as far as next up, they'll probably be next up. But I mean, as of right now, it's definitely the NFC North, hands down.
You mean AFC North?
Ain't that what I said?
No, you said NFC.
No, well,
I don't even know who's in the NFC North.
NFC North is Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Yeah,
division other than Adam Dell. So shout out Adam.
I think he's still crying over that berth, and he won our fantasy league too. So
look, I wasn't even trying, so that's how he won. I'm not gonna lie.
I finished third. Nobody cares about third.
At least you finished third. I finished third in baseball.
Nobody cares about third, man. Okay, did you not hear Nelly?
I got demolished in the loser bracket against Stephen Weed. I don't even think he
No, Stephen Weed doesn't care.
I don't think he touched his
Shout out
team.
to Stephen Weed though. My guy, man.
Or was it Wally? I don't remember who.
No. I put a whipping on Wally, so it would definitely wasn't that.
It was Stephen.
I swept him.
I think his name was OBJ Chocolate Party.
Yeah, that was Steven. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, nobody cares about third, second, fourth, fifth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th.
All right, bro. I finished 10th. Everybody cares about 10th place.
If everybody means you, then all right. But anyway, no, they're not there neither. Even though Chicago made the playoffs out of there, they definitely moonwalked into that playoff. I know Mr. Trubisky woke up the next morning like, oh, I gotta still play. No, that's
Yeah,
the Nick. That's Nick Foles for you, though. Nick Foles, for some reason, bro, he's going to help you win one way or another.
Was it Nick Foles? I thought it was Mitch Trubisky.
No, it wasn't Nick Foles, but he's on that roster.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. And Nick Foles is just waiting for Trubisky to get hurt so he can go ahead and take that shine. You got to watch him, man. Nick Foles is probably out there burning sage and burning bridges. Got to check that dude.
Yeah, gotta check him. Yeah, definitely. But let's take a quick break real quick. When we come back, we're gonna talk about how the Browns somehow broke the longest.
Watch your mouth.
Broke the league's longest playoff drought. We're gonna talk about that when we come back. But let's take a quick break. All right. We back. What do I normally say when we come back? It's been a minute.
I'm supposed to tell you what you normally say.
It's been a minute.
See that I'm occupied over here? Which you, by the way, he didn't tell me that we're going back on air.
I said we was gonna have a quick break, man.
Man, listen, bro. You got to give me the heads up.
Look, okay, I remember what I say. If you want to do what we doing, make sure you come up to Ohio Media School or hit up. I have no clue who to hit up. I don't know.
It's Nakia, ain't it still?
Isn't Nakia still?
It should be.
I don't have a card though. That's the thing. But come up to the school, 5330 East Main Street. If you want to do what we doing, yeah. Dang, that's crazy. It's really been a minute. I have no clue what I used to say.
You watch the old shows.
Nah.
Do your research, brother.
I might have to. But since we back, let's talk the Browns breaking the longest playoff drought. How long was it? 18 years?
18 years.
That's a whole
When you find out the baby wasn't his.
Yeah.
But the baby's ours. The playoffs is ours. Hey, the playoffs is ours. Talk about we back. Yes. I'll take a toast to that. Oh, it was up and down window, man. Like we almost gave it away.
They broke an 18-year curse just to get blown off in the first round, the wild card. That's all I gotta say.
Crazy.
That's all I gotta say.
You can wish upon a star, brother. That don't mean it's gonna happen. Like that's all right. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, at the end of the day, first of all, we broke the streak anyway, so we already won by just being in there. Obviously, I want to get there and win some games and do what we need to do. But at the end of the day, just to be in the dance is enough. So, I mean, especially dealing with all this COVID stuff and what, like I said, the Browns had to deal with so much worse at the end of it. Just because, first of all, the game against the Jets, you don't have none of your receivers. Come on, man. Like,
well, they really had no receivers.
We had receivers out there, but they weren't our receivers. Like we had
Jarvis, Higgins,
no Peoples Jones, none of that. And for some reason, we threw the ball, I think, 58 times, which was just a dumb game plan. As much as I love Stefanski, that was just a dumb game plan.
Well, I mean, look at it. You got Mike Piffer. What's his name?
I just call him Mikey Piff.
You got Piff now.
We got that Piff. That ain't never a bad thing. We got that Piff, so we'll see how that goes. But
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to know.
You probably don't. But at the end of the day, I mean, we got to see what he brings to the table. Luckily, Stefanski can still coach remotely, so the game plan is being put in. It's just Piff just has to not screw it up.
Right.
So, I mean, that's obviously easier said than done because there's a reason why you're not sitting in that big chair. But just like as you would say to an NFL player, next man up, it's the same thing there. You got to put the next man up.
But Zach Taylor understood that.
Zach Taylor just knows how to cash them checks because he's about to have another year on that job. Now he better. Now this is where the hot seat is. Getting out of that. But speaking back on our coach, I'm trying to take the attention away from my guys and our playoff drought being busted. Let me get my shine, man.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
I'm going to enjoy it every day that it lasts, just because I've dealt with all the slander. I've dealt with slander on this show. Shout out to Coach. I hope that needs better. I don't know why you ain't sitting in this chair today. So if anything, Coach should be here now. But yeah, I've had to deal with all of that, man. Like, so I mean, it's just the same thing. It's just Cleveland sports. I'm a Ohio sports fan through and through. So you get a lot of slander, a lot of it deserved. The Browns have sucked their whole, I mean, not their whole being, but a lot of years. So now we're starting to get it together. And, I'm not playing the violin for nobody that didn't have anybody, because at the end of the day, we still don't have Beckham. That's a big part of our team. We didn't have Beckham for a long time this year. We've dealt again with adversity and we made it through. The Browns didn't even lose back-to-back games at all this year. So
I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of crazy how y'all always do better without Odell on the field.
I think that's overblown, because I still believe that if Odell was out there this year and played every game, we would have had the same record. Like, it's just the fact that he got hurt.
Y'all would have been 10-6 at best.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I mean, we won't know. Yeah. I hope he comes back next year. That I'm not sure
He's
of.
Be on the team next year.
That's a big question. We will probably talk about that a little bit later. Maybe not on this show, but on future shows. But at the end of the day, I just think it boils down to Beckham. He's kind of like Beckham's kind of like having a bad chick. You have to give a lot more time and attention and energy to him than having a mud duck. If you got a whole roster full of mud ducks, I mean, you can kind of give each one of them a little bit of attention. They don't need much. But you got that baddie, you better give her the attention before somebody else does.
I feel like we done had this conversation before.
Yeah, sports and women, we kind of correlate them. Same thing. Ain't too much of a difference. But at the same time, it's sometimes you tend to force feed it. And that's kind of that's my point. With that baddie, you may try to force the issue a little bit. You may try to do too much, and she's going to end up not liking it because, she just, at the end of the day, she still just wants to be loved. And that's what Beckham is. Beckham just wants to win. I don't want to see no receiver that doesn't want the ball coming his way, first of all. But there's ways to do it. If you get open, that's the guy that you get the ball to. I think Baker had to come into his own, too. This is a new coordinator. This is a new head coach. This is a new system. You got to give things time. I think we live in this social media landscape in a world where everything is rushed. Everything has to be right here, right now. And that's just not how it goes. Especially with, you're dealing with this COVID stuff where practice time is hard to get to. You don't know who's going to be in and out the lineup. There's just so many moving parts that it was going to take a while to get adjusted. But everybody's so negative that the moment something goes wrong, let's just get rid of everything. Or let's just say Beckham's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you just have to let things play out. If you would have looked at the beginning of the season, you would have thought Jacksonville was a threat. They won that first game. Didn't win another game the rest of the year. Period. But if you would have looked at that first game, you'd have thought the coach was a bust. Phillip Rivers was a bad pickup. Blah, blah, blah. But you let everything play out. Now they're sitting in the playoffs, and now you have nothing to say. Same thing with Beckham. You'll go and rush because Beckham's not there and say, well, they do better because Beckham's not there. But, if Beckham was there, you might have a different result. Who knows? They might have been 12-4. But all I know is there was guys that stepped up in his absence. So it's just, to me, if Beckham's there, that ball is still coming that way. It's just coming to a playmaker's hand that can always take it the distance. So, I mean, we just have to see how Cleveland as an organization sees that. What we say, it matters, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. What the Cleveland organization thinks of Beckham and that dynamic with him and Landry is going to tell how they're going to move going forward. So we'll see. But all I know right now is the Browns are in the playoffs, baby, and nothing else matters. Period. I feel like we need that drop. That period, poo. I know how they say it. The cool kids. The city girls. Show my age a little bit. Period, poo.
I don't know nothing about that.
Shut up. This is your demographic. That's what you was listening to before you walked in the building.
That's crazy. If anything, I don't listen to. No, we're not getting into
Beyonce. That what you about to say?
No.
You was getting your oh.
That's crazy.
Mm-mm-mm.
Nah, we not. Nah, if we get any sound drop, it would not be period poo at all. All right, but it seems Ben Roethlisberger is ready for this game. He deep ready for it. He said he'll do anything to beat the Browns, even let what's his name, Joshua Dobbs take some snaps.
I wouldn't know what Big Ben was doing week 17. You gotta watch that dude.
Yeah, he was resting.
I don't trust him. Keep your hands where I can see him being.
I'm hating this right now. I don't know who to root for.
I could have swore I seen Ben on Capitol Hill yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me go bring up the footage. Let me see, man. Let me find out. But nah, go ahead.
Mason was there with him.
Mason, Mason was there. He was one of the ones carrying the flag. And that Kumbaya picture, man, get that one out of here, man. We beef over here. Ain't no we cool. We ain't. Look, Miles Garrett can say y'all cool, Mason. I ain't saying it. Today I got time.
He got time.
I got time. But nah, man, like Big Ben can say whatever he wants to say. Them annoying Steeler fans can say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, they're gonna wipe those tears with them towels. So I'm cool with it. Like that's who I want. I didn't want nobody else. Like you beat the Steelers, that shows you for real. You know, they're not the best team. They're not. I think the Steelers are more of who they were at the end of the season than they were at the beginning of the season. I think that's the true Steelers. But you know,
I was gonna say they lost 4 out of the last 5 of their games.
So. That's them. That's who they are. They just got off to a hot start and they backpedaled their way in. But we have to prove to them that they're the flukes. And again, this is Cleveland's way. Cleveland doesn't do anything easy. So they're Pittsburgh, from all accounts, they're going to be fully healthy. They'll be fully ready to go. We're going to have some guys out. Batonio's out, Hodges out, Stefanski's out, obviously. So we're going to take some hits, but I still believe in my team. So the beauty of football, we can talk all day long, but you have to get out there and prove it. You have to get out there and show that you're ready to play and you can beat these guys. So, and we've done that the last couple of years. I'm hearing a lot of, they said him, blah, 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 blah. You plays on your schedule, because the Steelers definitely didn't have a tough schedule for the most part. So I wasn't hearing that then. I don't want to hear that now. But we still beat them last year too. So it just boils down to who's the best team this coming Sunday at 8 o'clock. That's what's going to matter more than anything. None of that past history matters. It's the same thing with any other teams in divisions. Nothing that happened before matters. It's about what you do when you play against the team that you're playing against. See how that goes. Let's make something shake.
All I can say is, as much as I don't want to see either one of these teams in the playoffs, I guess I got to root for the Browns a little bit.
Oof.
I just hope they, holy snap, that scared me. I did not see that.
Be professional.
Jeez. Yo, I got scared, man. But what was I about to say?
How am I supposed to know what you about to say?
I just hope that
she got you rattled.
Yo, for real. I just lost.
She got you rattled.
Okay. What I was saying is, I just hope the Browns don't implode like we did in 2015. That's all I just hope.
Well, as long as Vontaze Perfect and Pac-Man Jones ain't on that roster. Now, if I leave here and I get that alert and it says that those two guys will sign with Cleveland, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be real mad. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, you have to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that ball's gonna get, no matter what we say, no matter what we do, 8:15 this Sunday, the ball's gonna get kicked off. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see who's going to be out there, who's going to be ready, who's going to be playoff ready. And Kansas City's the only team that's not bounced that can sit there and watch the game and just enjoy it. So everybody else has something to do. Let's get your game plan together. Let's buckle them chin straps. Let's get to it.
Wait, no one else has a first round bye?
I'm talking about the AFC.
Oh, okay.
The NFC is the Packers that have their bye. But as far as the AFC, you either have nothing to do but watch the games or something to do like playing the game. So get your game plan together, get healthy, stay smart, stay safe, stay COVID free, because that didn't hit the Browns harder than anybody. So really, they can't take no more losses. But as long as that gets situated, they can go out there and they can win. Like, I still have full confidence that they can go out there and pull it off. It's just, I'm still one of those, I'll believe it when I see it. Just how I felt about the playoffs. I felt all along we can make the playoffs, but until I saw it, I believe it.
I thought y'all had a handle too until I saw what Alex Van Pelt said. He said Kevin Stefanski uses dad jokes to keep the guys loose and light. I mean, without that, y'all gonna be stiff as a board.
So basically, he needs to be on the show with Debbie and Hannah. Then shout out to Debbie and Hannah. in the dad jokes.
They still do that show?
I have no clue.
I don't know what's
I
going
don't know
on.
what's happening nowadays here. There's some new shows, but that's about all I know.
All I know is without them dad jokes, y'all might be stiff as a board.
If dad jokes is what we need to be able to win or lose, then we deserve to lose. Period. Put on some Chappelle and call it a day.
That's crazy.
That's all I'm saying. I mean, keep it light, keep it loose.
But I'm gonna try to avoid this conversation because I don't really want to have it. But I guess we gotta talk to Bengals
Who they?
and the Brown family, Mike Brown and all them came out and supported Zach Taylor. Said they're sticking with Zach Taylor. They believe in his administration or whatever. And Zach Taylor came out and said he's sticking with all three of his coordinators. So that's Lou Armadillo, Brian Callahan. I forgot who the other guy was, but I don't want to say it's a whole nother year of terrible, but who knows?
Well, I'll tell you this: it won't. No matter what, it won't be a whole nother year of terrible. If it's half a year terrible, Zach Taylor will be gone.
Half a year terrible?
Yeah, they're not gonna. He's not gonna finish up the year. You have your quarterback now. You have another off season to be able to, and to me, the off season that they had this year is going to carry over to next year because Reader didn't get to play too much. Was it Trey Waynes? He didn't get to play.
Yeah, he didn't get to play at all.
Mike
But
Daniels might come back. So
we losing players also at the same time. Like AJ may be looking at his last year with us.
Is that really a loss though? At this point, I mean, I understand what he used to do.
Kind of a loss in a way because he still brings the name factor.
Yeah, but a name doesn't do anything on the field.
I mean, in a way, like I think Larry. Well, no, he got D Hop now, but Larry he still drew that number one corner when before they had D Hop. Now that D Hop's there, he more open. But like
But they were 4-12 when he drew that number one corner, so it was more so because your number two ain't worth nothing.
Right.
Less of because your number one is scary anymore. So I mean, and I love AJ Green just like the next person. Every way he carries himself, the way you can get them hands if you step out of line with him. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things. He's a great leader. He's a lot of that. I give him that. But at the end of the day, he didn't produce. And T. Higgins outplayed him. Tyler Boyd has taken his spot. So if he comes back, that's a win for the city more or less than a win for the on-field product. Because he was more so healthy this year too. That was the thing. Like if AJ Green came back this year and he was the AJ Green that he used to be, then yeah, that's something. But I think more so AJ needs to take that more of a backseat role or be somewhere else. And that's probably a mutually beneficial thing. So yeah, you might lose him, but T. Higgins is kind of going up there. You know what I'm saying? So you can replace that production. Tyler Boyd, I think Gio get more touches.
Well, that's another one. Gio may be gone also.
Well, you got Joe Mixon. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's.
Oh wait, we talking about. I'm gonna say Gino may be gone.
Oh well,
Gio could also be gone if you think on it.
But those are the old regime, and those are also a big part of the teams that underwhelmed the last couple of years.
Right.
So you may need to bring fresh blood in there. You got pretty much everything you're going to get out of those guys. So at some point, it's better to cut bait early or right on time than too late. And I think if you hold on to them a little too long, then it'll be too late. They're going to take valuable playing time from guys that really need to, go out there and get it. But it's just kind of like it's more so the addition by subtraction thing. But I think adding in Joe Mixon is kind of like a new acquisition because he hardly played this year. DJ Reader didn't play this year really. Trey Waynes didn't play this year. Then you're going to have money to bring other guys to come in and play. And then that's going to be compensated by the money that AJ Green, you don't have to pay him no more if you do let him go. And if you bring him back, it's going to be at a discount rate anyway. Geno Watkins, the same thing. You're not going to be paying those guys that kind of money. So that's what's going to let you bring more people in there to be able to compete. Now, we spark that fire. If you don't do what you need to do, then you got to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Bring Marvin Lewis back for all of that. But it's just the Bengals have to start winning because especially I'm big on when your quarterback's under that rookie contract. So to me, Joe Burrow has that 3-year window that you need to be able to bring as much talent as you can bring. You need to be able to get the chemistry together and get the guys that can win out there right now for him because when he starts getting that money, you'll see kind of like a Stafford situation in Detroit. Stafford was making all that bread, so you can't have a team built. You can't have a lot of great talent around him because he's making so much money. That's what happened with Joe Burrow, that you're going to have to lose players if that's the case. So you have to take advantage of that window when you have it.
Speaking of Detroit, it seems that their own O-line coach is interviewing with the Bengals, reports is having, which, I mean, that's a step in the right direction, if we going to be honest. Because I can't remember his name, but the O-line coach we had was horrendous. And I mean, I'm happy to see him go. I'll be happy if more changes was happening. But if Zach wants to still stick with his guys, I hope there's improvement along the line. Because I know the O-line and D-line coach, I think, got fired, along with the defense coordinator assistant or something like that. I can't remember who got let go. I just know the three main coordinators are still there. So yeah, but
Well, I mean, you got to give guys a fair shot too. Like we all knew the Bengals weren't winning nothing this year.
I mean, yeah, but it's just the fact that you doubled your wins, and there was a lot of games where you could have had more. Like it could have been a 6-10 year at best.
But I mean, that is the same way I feel about the Buckeyes and playing, a couple more games just to say you did it. Like, what does that really do? You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Buckeyes would have beat not Indiana, if they would have beat Purdue and freaking Illinois and Maryland and Michigan again, would that really matter in the grand scheme of things? Absolutely not. That's just giving you a couple extra whatever wins that it doesn't really show you much. Same thing with the Bengals. If you get a couple more wins, a couple could have beens, all that does is screw up your draft. That's it. At this point, you have to say that was, our teams played hard. That's what you want to see. Like, they didn't quit on their coach.
Right.
So, obviously, something that's being said in those locker rooms is working. Obviously, there's people that still care and they're still bought in. It's just, at some point, you got to have the talent. We can rah-rah all day. We can say, I believe in you all day long, but you got to go out there and prove it, too. So, until you go out there and show it, and, they played up until their potential. I would say, but they had limited potential. So now, if we get more talent in there, another year of the same system, another year of the same voices telling you the same things, now you got guys that can actually do it, then you can produce and win. If you're saying the same things, you got guys that can do it and you don't win, that's on the coach now. So it's just that dynamic. It's probably what Mike Brown is looking at. And let's not forget that he's still pretty cheap. That's something that comes with it too. That he's not trying to pay Zach Taylor if he doesn't have to. So, what's the harm in, checking out another year, especially if you believed in him a couple years ago. Why not give him an extra year? Hugh Jackson got 3. Well, kind of got 3. So Zach Taylor, you might as well give him his time.
Yeah, I guess you might as well give him his time. But you spoke on us just missing that or messing up our draft stock, but we already messed that up by like the time we won that third game, didn't we?
I mean, you moved down 2 spots, yeah, but you're still the top 5.
I mean, in a way, but you said it best. If we were going after the penny swell, we'd have missed them already.
But that's kind of one of those things where you're still in great shape by being from 3 to 5.
Right.
From being 5 to 9, it's a whole different ball game. At 5, you probably should, like me personally, I feel like the Bengals should trade down. If Penny ain't there, trade down. Because this is a quarterback thirsty league. There's at least 3 quarterbacks that's worth a top 5 pick, I feel like.
But I mean, who will we be trading?
Well, you can trade down and whoever wants to trade up. You can go from 5 to 7 or 8. And see, it's a difference between picking at 7 or 8 after you won a couple more games and screwing yourself out of it.
I mean, like, but what piece will we be trading away to get to 7 or 8? Like, are we just trading away future draft?
No, you would trade 5 and somebody will be coming up, is what I'm saying. Like, this is a quarterback heavy draft. Okay. You got Trevor Lawrence, you got Justin Fields, you got Trey Lance.
But how many teams really need quarterbacks though?
Every team's gonna need quarterbacks at some point in time. Like even teams that you just seen, you
in a dire situation like right now. What team truly needs a quarterback?
I don't think it's a dire situation. We can say Detroit. You can use Detroit as an example. I don't know where they're picking, but say Detroit knows Stafford's leaving. Well, now Detroit needs a quarterback. Detroit may give you their first, their second, maybe a first next year and a third to move up to 5. They may do that and pick up Trey Lance. At the end of the day, now you can get you a lineman. Now you can get you another guard. Now you can get you a couple linebackers, a couple cornerbacks, and you still have your original pick in every other round. So your second round pick is pretty high, your third round pick, and so on and so forth. And you're just adding talent on talent on talent on that roster, and you didn't have to lose to get there. Whereas if you lost that many games, now you may be looking to trade down, but you may not get enough now. That a pick 5 is way more appealing than a pick 8. So it's just more so about just getting an influx of talent on that roster. And outside of quarterback, you can always add other pieces to that team. And I still think you need another quarterback, but not early. So you can add you another, couple linemen. You can add you some cornerbacks if you feel like whatever you feel like that team needs. That's what you can get in a pretty deep draft because somebody's going to be thirsty for that quarterback. Quarterbacks are always going to get a hefty price on it. So it's just, it's negotiating at a point of strength instead of a point of weakness. Because you could be the team that needs a quarterback. You got your guy. Even though he's hurt right now, you still know you got your guy. So you can trade down and get whatever you need instead of being at 5 and now you want to try to trade up to 1 or 2 and you have to give up the farm and you're not ready for that either. Cincinnati got Joe Burrow just by being sucky McSucky. That's all it took. Now you can build from that if they do it the right way and be able to have sustained success. And again, you have to take advantage of that window that he's not getting paid that much though. So we'll see what they do. Like that's to me, the Bengals are one of the more intriguing teams. Like flat out.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna take another break, and then when we come back, I can't remember what's on the rundown, but we might be talking week 17 or recapping it. See y'all in a minute.
We back.
Okay, bro, just go ahead and take my stuff.
Yep. We back. How you the one that said we coming back, and then you ain't even ready?
That ain't my fault. That ain't my fault.
I don't know what this dude be doing, bro.
Technical difficulties, man.
It's always technical difficulties.
Yes, sir.
But we back.
All right. And we're gonna talk some playoffs. We're gonna talk more. Well, we're gonna talk more playoffs since we already talked about it. But we're gonna branch it out. We're gonna talk about how the Bills are going up against the Colts, Steelers, Ravens, Titans. What did I say that right? Steelers, Browns, Ravens, Titans. Then we're gonna talk Saints, Bears, Seahawks, Rams, Washington, Buccaneers. So you want to start in the AFC first or the NFC?
Yeah, we'll get to the AFC.
All right.
Shout out to the Bills. I don't know if a number 2 team is really under the radar, but they're kind of under the radar. They're about as complete of a team as you can get, man. Like, they defense is strong, nice run game. Josh Allen, shout out to him. I'm huge on accountability, like flat out. I feel like that's the problem with people nowadays. Is it's a lack of accountability. Everybody wants to be perfect, even though there's never a perfect person. Even though you're always going to be wrong at some point. But I can admit with Josh Allen, I was wrong. I didn't think that he was a great prospect, and I still feel that way. Like I don't think that he was a great prospect coming out, but he got a lot better, and that's the thing that is an underrated factor that people don't really pay that much attention to. Is what do you do when you get there? At Wyoming, he had the tools. A lot of people look good in shorts. A lot of people look good in tank tops. And, when there's nobody rushing you, you just drop back and you throw that ball. And you do some of those things that it looks pretty until you get on the football field. Josh Allen, that was a guy I felt that way about. Like, if you want to create this dude on Madden, you want to create somebody like Josh Allen. He can run, he can throw, he can, he's kind of hard nosed. He's not going to slide. He's going to put his head down. He's going to run into you because he realizes he's 6'5", 240.
Yeah, I was going to say he built like a linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kind of like, he got that Cam Newton kind of mode to him.
Right.
But his accuracy was trash coming out. And I'm big on that. No matter what, if the quarterback has great arm talent, he can put it where he needs to be. I'll give me a accurate quarterback before you give me a big arm quarterback. Just because that big arm can overthrow you. Jamarcus Russell had a big arm, and
he was known to overthrow,
and he was a big bum. But
you ain't had to go that far.
Yes, I did. You gotta call it like we call it like we see it here. But
oh, like just say go Tigers. I mean, I got some love. My quarterback went to LSU.
He also went to Ohio State, so
yeah. Well, he's almost success at LSU.
Whatever. But Josh Allen, he just didn't look. Well, he didn't look that great coming out as far as his quarterback it was.
Right.
But he showed up and showed out, especially the last couple of years. I think he was a 70% passer this year.
Yeah, I would have. He through his career, I want to say he was in the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah.
And then early his NFL career, I want to say he was in the 60s. Now he's, I think, 67, 70%.
That's just ridiculous.
But I mean, you also got to give that to like what Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I mean,
now he has a target to throw to. I don't know who he had before.
You never are going to do that great when you don't have talent around you. Like that's just that it is what it is. But you also have to make the throws. Like Stephon Diggs can get open, but if Josh Allen doesn't put the ball on the numbers, then what does that really matter? Right. Their chemistry is amazing. They obviously put up, a lot of great numbers, but it's Josh Allen who I'm speaking on more so of him as a quarterback, because what he does when Stephon Diggs is not getting the ball is just as impressive as he is when Stephon Diggs is getting the ball. So for him to take that next level, I got to give him kudos, because again, I didn't think he was going to be that great of a prospect. I mean, he was that great of a prospect, and I didn't think he was going to do that well when he got into the NFL. And to be playing at an MVP caliber level consistently, I tip my hat off to that dude. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to go out there and prove it on the big stage. I know he was there last year, and they let Kansas City come back. I think it was Kansas City or it was Houston. I know one. I can't remember. You about to bring it up, but I know they had a big lead and they lost it. I want to say it was Houston because I think Kansas City beat Houston. I kind of forgot about last year's because we talk about this year's playoffs with the Browns there, baby. But back to Josh Allen. He's got the boys rolling. He's they've won the right way. They've taken over that division. They play the right way.
It was Houston.
Okay. They play the right way. They're a fun team to watch. That win against Arizona with Stephon Diggs threw the Hail Mary, Stephon Diggs grabbed it out of the air. That was a big time play. That was something that gets you excited. Their defense is very impressive. It's an overall fun team to play. And they're a scary team. Kansas City probably should watch out if they make it that far. So I mean, Buffalo, I'm very impressed with them, and I think them and the coach are gonna have a good matchup. Really, I think Phillip Rivers kind of has that type of moxie that Josh Allen is starting to grow into. So, I know Phillip Rivers is out the door, about to walk out the door, but Josh Allen can look at him and learn a lot and maybe end up being better than Phillip Rivers at this point.
I mean, he's already on the path to being better than Phillip Rivers.
Absolutely. But, this is football too, so anything can happen. You can be up here and you can be down there.
Because you said the best. Carson Wentz was up there, and now he's on the bench.
Like the way he's looked at, you would think that man's almost 40 and about to be out the door. Like he's still, I think he's not even 30 yet. But that's how fast the NFL can go.
I don't even know if he's 25.
No, he's older than that.
You sure about that?
Yeah, because he was an old senior when he came out.
Oh yeah, he's 28.
Yeah, but still, that's especially as a quarterback position. 28 is really, really young. Yeah. But the NFL moves fast. Like they say, the NFL is not for long.
I don't know. 38 may be young too. You got a 43-year-old in the playoffs right now.
Terrific time, but terrific time is a whole different breed of a dude, man. But I mean, it's just it what it boils down to is, like I said, Buffalo's a team that plays the right way. They well coached. They're a sight to see. So I'm definitely excited to watch them come up. And not to get too much into predictions, but I think they're definitely, can give Indianapolis a run for their money. I mean, obviously they're number 2 seed, right, but I think they're more evenly matched than what people would actually give credit for, because I think that was the AFC as a whole. I think the AFC It's really just it's the margin of error is so small. So I mean, it's I think that it's going to be a lot of closer games than what maybe the experts will think of. I don't know why people decide to call me during the time. I know they know I have a show, but
I mean,
whatever.
they probably trying to call in.
There's a call-in line if you want to call in.
I don't know nothing about that call-in line.
It's right there by your arm, sir.
I don't see anything over here at all.
Well, somebody looked at the Trump book. But yeah, man, Buffalo is definitely some a team to watch for. So I'm excited to watch them play. I'm excited for the whole playoffs. Period.
Right. I mean, me personally, looking at this game, I think Buffalo got it in the bag. I don't know. Like the Colts defense, at one point it was on fire, but then, I mean, we went in there and we kind of showed up and showed out for a minute, even though we lost to the Colts. And I feel like after that, I never looked at the Colts defense the same. I don't know what it was. It felt like a roller coaster after that.
I think the biggest thing is Malik Hooker not being on that team. Like he's
Wait, did he get hurt?
Yeah, for some reason he's always hurt now.
Oh, that's crazy.
But he's a difference maker. They still have Darius Leonard there. You know, he still makes plays for them. They have a great team defense, but
yeah, I know they still got DeForest Buckner. They still got him. He's not hurt. They got Darius Leonard. He's not hurt. But I don't know. I just feel like with the arm talent that Josh Allen got now, and with Stephon Diggs, I mean, Stephon Diggs is known to. Well, I know the Vikings are happy they not in the playoffs and they don't have to. Well, not the Vikings. Who was it? The Saints.
Oh yeah.
I know the Saints are happy that the Vikings ain't in the playoffs and they ain't got Stephon Diggs anymore. I know that much. But I don't know. I just feel like the Bills kind of got this in the hand, to be honest.
They should.
Yeah, but the Colts, they're a feisty team. They might show up, show out.
That's the beauty about the playoffs. Is it's really a one game playoff. NBA, best 4 out of 7. So the best team usually is going to win, just because there's more chances to.
I mean, I wouldn't say that. We just saw what happened to Milwaukee 2 years in a row.
So. That don't mean that they was the best team. Milwaukee played.
They was the best team in the regular
season.
All right.
Yeah, well, have you not heard me doing this show about how little I care about the regular season? I could care less about the regular season. The regular season is pretty much dotting your I's and crossing your T's. That's what that is for.
That's a LeBron mentality. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. But, at the end of the day, what it boils down to is what you do when you get there. So the Bills can have a magical season. They can do everything right. And then if they get bounced.
Kind of like Baltimore last year.
Thank you for making my point. See, you be learning, bro. That's what I be talking about. That's why I don't fire you that much no more.
You be learning.
You be learning.
I ain't got the knowledge right here.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, but anyway, shout out to the Bills for getting this time.
But okay, let's say, who would they be matching up against if they win? The Bills.
I think if the Bills win, they would play. I don't know, because it's the NFL is weird because certain teams have to win. So for example, like if the Bills won their game and the Browns beat the Steelers, then the Bills play somebody different than if the Steelers beat the Browns. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not exactly sure what happens where.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused now, because then they added in the 17, right? This is the year that they added in another team.
Well, it's still relatively like a 16,
right?
Because the first round bye is more so.
But it's still confusing to me right now because I have no clue who they would play. But they would play one of either the Titans or the Steelers or Browns. They would still play one of them.
Yeah, but I don't. One of those teams have to actually win for you to know who the Bills are going to play. It's not as cut and dry as where the standings are. Yeah. But still with the Bills, they should feel confident against any team. Just like anybody else in the playoff field, though. I feel like from the worst team, the Colts, all the way into the best team, the Chiefs, they should all feel confident that they can beat whoever's on that field, because it's that close. I know the Chiefs had a far and away better record in the regular season than everybody, but they can be beat just like everybody else. They're the defending champions.
14-2 is what? They was legit like one loss from the Chargers from being the Bills. If we want to be honest.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, they played who was on their schedule and they have the record that they have.
Right.
But they still can be beat. I know it hasn't been done as far as, the last playoffs, they won the whole thing. So, and I picked Kansas City to make the Super Bowl this year anyway. I got Kansas City and Tampa Bay.
Who did I have?
I
I
don't know.
Baltimore.
You have to get with Dale on that one. I know he has a paper from the staff that picked the games. I remember who I picked. But still, it's.
I think I almost got this all right. I feel like the only team that I think I got wrong is the Bengals, because I put the Bengals instead of the Browns. But I think
You're
I had
such a homer.
I think I had the Bengals, Ravens, Steelers in the playoffs, and I want to say most of these teams might have been there too. But I think I had the Ravens winning it all. That's crazy. I believed in Coach's team. He's not even here.
That knee, man. I still can't believe he decided to play some football. Like, we ain't all washed. What is his problem?
What is his wee stuff?
You think you ain't washed?
I could get out there in the field. Give me like a month or so.
Bro, I seen you run. You washed.
Give me 6 months.
You gonna need 6 years.
That's crazy.
Just go ahead and join the club, bro. There's a reason you're behind that desk, brother.
I'm a young 24-year-old. Give me about 6 months. I'll be out there with the best of them.
The last young I saw was Jeezy. Nah, man.
All right, so let's go on to the NFC and let's talk about them for a minute. So we got the Saints, Bears, Seahawks, Rams, Washington, Buccaneers.
See what I mean? The difference between the AFC and the NFC. Come on, man. Seahawks, you said it's the Saints, Bears.
Right.
Come on. Saints, easy.
That's an 8. How an 8 and 18 make it? That's crazy. I'm looking at these records. The AFC is the Chiefs is 14-2, Bills is 13-3, Steelers is 12-4, Titans is 11-5, Ravens 11-5, Browns 11-5, Colts 11-5. I'm looking at the NFC. It's 13-3, 12-4, 12-4, 7-9, 11-5, 10-6, 8-8.
Mediocre.
Golly, how teams make it over there? Man, the Bengals might want to go over there. Let's be honest.
The NFC is pretty much the Eastern Conference over the last few years. It's just, I mean, it's the way that they handle it. There's so much more talent out in the AFC. I mean, you see the 10-6 Dolphins didn't even make the playoffs. So they got to be looking at the 8-8 Bears and the 8-8 Rams, and the 7-9 Redskins. Like, come on, man.
Wait, hold up. How you 10-6 and not make the playoffs?
Because the AFC was just that dope. That's just what it was.
Oh, well, you said Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
That missed my mind.
You should probably listen up next time.
Yeah, I should probably.
But yeah, it's just that's the rules. That's the way the NFL has it. So, and I mean, I'm not big on making the change just because you didn't like the way that happened. It is what it is. At some point, that's just what it boils down to. So, I mean, it's just that NFC is super mediocre, but you won't have to worry about it after the first week. I don't feel like. Now, obviously, we've seen in the past, and shout out to Beast Mode for having that big old run, but 7-9 didn't really mean that much then to them and Seattle back in the day. But I don't see the same thing happening now. I
don't know. Tom Brady's been struggling all year against the pass rush. Washington got a great pass rush. So.
Yeah, but their offense is.
I mean, if Alex Smith is back there, it's a little bit more competent. You don't believe in Alex Smith?
No. Alex Smith gets you there. Alex Smith ain't going to take you nowhere after that. There's a reason he kept getting replaced. There's a reason Kaepernick took his job. I know the NFL likes to act like that never happened, but there's a reason Kaepernick took his job. There's a reason why Pat Mahomes was put in that Kansas City place after
I mean, that's a generational talent.
And Alex Smith ain't. That's my point. Tom Brady's what? Generational talent. Like, he wasn't looked at like that coming out of college, obviously, because he went the 6th round, but he showed when he played.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you go to Michigan.
Yeah, true. But, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where Tom Brady can be average, mediocre, have a, whatever up and down year, which he did not. I think Tom Brady had 40 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere close to it. I have to look that up.
I think he had a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, as great as Washington's pass rush is, which they are, they'll get to him. They're gonna hit him a couple times, and they're gonna do some stuff to him. But at the end of the day, you're gonna still have to score some points. And I don't think that they have enough to be able to get into that kind of race with them. Now, Mike Evans, he did leave the last game hurt, so depending on his availability. But that's the thing about Tampa Bay too; they're loaded all over the field. So I mean, and guys like Tom Brady, they live for the playoffs, and I ain't never seen Tom Brady get bounced in the first round, and I don't see that happening this year either.
Last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
Yeah.
See how much I forgot about last year? I told you.
He did. He had 40 touchdowns this year.
Yeah.
4,000 yards. His completion percentage was 65%. Yeah. Yeah, he was balling.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, and again, that Washington football team's defense is stout, but you have to score points too. So unless they start turning them over and they score them defensively,
they also have a great defense.
Yeah,
also.
absolutely. And they just got Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, that secondary is to reckon with.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, Washington, they need to pat themselves on the back for just being there. And you need something good coming out of Washington in these times.
Do they have to pat themselves on the back? I mean, you won in the NFC East.
Yeah, but you were the number 2 pick last year. So, I mean, if you would have told Washington football team at the beginning of the year you'll be 7-9, and you didn't say nothing about playoffs, they would have took that. Just the same thing as the Bengals. If you would have told the Bengals you'd be 7-9, they would have took that.
If you would have told us we'd be 4-11, we would have took it. But we did.
You see what I mean? So to be 7-9 in the playoffs, and you're on the up and up, they should be happy. But with that, but the buck stops here. Pun intended. The buck stops here.
So for the playoffs, to go back, you have the Bills. You basically got the Bills over the Colts.
I'm picking the Bills over the Colts.
You think it's a good game. You got the Browns over the Steelers.
Yep.
That's only because you're a Browns fan.
Oof.
And the Ravens with the Titans. Who did you have?
I'm going with the Titans.
You going with the Titans?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go Steelers. No, I'm gonna go Browns. That felt like venom coming out my mouth. I'm gonna go Browns.
I almost slapped you, so
I'm gonna go Browns. That felt like
you see my hand twitching. I almost.
And I'm gonna go Ravens. I still got the Ravens winning it all. I can't lie.
Well, have fun with that one.
Yeah. And for the NFC, you got the Saints over the Bears, right? I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah.
What about Seahawks, Rams?
Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks.
Rams, you know who the quarterback's going to be.
They don't?
No, Jared Goff's hurt.
Oh, that's crazy.
He may play, but
if you want Brandon Allen, I mean, we could drop him.
I don't think that's the way it works.
I know it's not the way.
You might as well just go ahead and pack your bags and get ready for the off season.
In Washington Buccaneers, you got the Buccaneers.
Absolutely.
I want to have Washington low key.
Well, go ahead and pick them. It's a free country, I think.
Nah, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, because I hate losing money, I gotta go Buccaneers. So
it's a smart bet.
Yeah.
With that being said, we have to still see it play out. So, and again, something that I don't want to bring up and I don't want to speak on, I don't want to jinx it, but until these games are played, COVID plays a factor. So,
we already have seen COVID play a factor for your team. So.
Absolutely. But I'm saying right now, this is Thursday. Games don't start until Saturday. So they need to be put in a bubble or something until that time comes. I'm talking about if I'm them, I'm not ordering nothing. I'm staying secluded. Don't touch.
Ordering no food?
No. That's too risky, man.
They got the no contact delivery.
I don't care. That's too risky. You touch the wrong doorknob or whatever, something's up. It's playoff time.
Just wash your hands after.
Yeah. If it was only that simple, man, I don't. Nope. Why risk it?
I mean, you still got people out here fighting about wearing masks, so I guess you got a point.
I don't even want to get back on that subject at all.
But I mean, that's all I had on my show notes, really. If there's anything else you want to add.
Check us out next week. You already know. Same time, same place, same channel. Got open gym on Wednesdays, same time. Rondell should be back in the fold.
Nah, I'm gonna skip out.
Nah, that's not how that's gonna work. Rondell will be back here next week on both shows.
That's crazy.
Holding it down.
I am. the second half of these shows, and he always act like the boss. That's crazy.
Well, I mean,
somebody got to do it.
somebody got to be the boss. Thank you. Like, that's all I'm saying. But man, yeah, exactly. Appreciate the views. Appreciate you checking us out. Make sure you like, share, all that. We will be having anchors coming up. We will have our Spotify together. Once Rondell gets the Twitter and the YouTube channels and all that, we will have them.
Oh man, that's pain.
I don't know what he be doing in his spare time. I really don't. But we should have been had those things too. But we'll get it. We'll get there. But yeah,
I said that college.
just like any other day, man. We appreciate y'all checking us out, man. Definitely. And check out the rest of the shows we're scoring there. You know,
The show right after us. Make sure y'all check that out.
Absolutely. Shout out to Adam Dale, the rest of the staff, the crew. There's everybody here, man. We always gonna appreciate the opportunity. So definitely. That's all I have.
Yeah. All I got is check us out. Make sure y'all look for everything coming up. I'm gonna get on it. I've been busy, working, school. I can't really say school.
I'm about to say, when did you go back to school?
I'm capping with the school. I still got the online school with the
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's online.
Bro, that stuff is hard. That's like 10 classes.
That was your choice.
I'm starting to regret that choice.
Well, you should listen to me. Well, now, what did we learn? Say it with me, class.
but yeah, I'm gonna get on it. It's gonna get out. Look, if it's not out by Friday, I'm not even gonna finish that. It's gonna be out. Just stay tuned. But that's all I gotta say. See you next time. Peace.